Have you ever felt that inexplicable chill upon entering a certain room in your house? That unsettling sensation that something invisible is watching you? I know exactly what you're feeling, because there's a truth few dare to speak. Max Heindel Kolbe, the German mystic who dedicated his life to the study of hidden energies, made a disturbing discovery. He mapped exactly where negative forces concentrate within homes. And the most shocking part isn't the obvious places. It's the ones where you feel safest. Today you'll uncover these 5 places, but before I reveal each one, I need to tell you something that will make you rethink everything about your own home. Because maybe, just maybe, you already know where they are. Your subconscious has already picked up the signals. You've felt the heaviness in the air. You've noticed how certain areas of the house seem to drain your energy. The question is, are you ready to confirm what your intuition already knows? Kolbe spent 17 years studying residences haunted by dense energies. He entered homes where entire families lost sleep, where relationships deteriorated without apparent reason, where children cried inexplicably. And in each of these houses, he found the same pattern. The same 5 strategic points where negative energies accumulated like invisible dust. The first place will surprise you completely. It's the master bedroom. Yes, exactly where you imagine being most protected, where you share your most intimate moments, where you surrender to the deepest sleep. But think with me, how many arguments have taken place in this room? How many tears have been shed on that pillow? How many sleepless nights have been lived in that bed? Kolbe discovered something disturbing about master bedrooms. They function as emotional sponges, absorbing every unexpressed frustration, every swallowed grievance, every moment of disconnection between the couple. And there's more. The bed. The bed is the epicenter of it all. Have you noticed how on certain mornings you wake up more tired than when you went to bed? As if something had drained your energy during the night? It's no coincidence. According to Kolbe, the mattress absorbs the emotional emanations of those who sleep on it, month after month, year after year, until it becomes a repository of dense energy. But here's the detail that almost no one notices. The headboard. It always points in a specific direction, and depending on that direction, it can be channeling energies you can't even imagine. Do you know where your bed is pointed? North, south, east, west? Keep that information in mind. Because when I finish revealing the 5 places, you'll understand why this matters so much. The second place is even more disturbing than the first. The kitchen. Specifically, the kitchen sink. Seems harmless, doesn't it? After all, it's just where you wash the dishes, where the water runs clean and crystal clear. But Kolbe discovered something that will send chills down your spine. The sink is where all the grime of the house converges. Not just physical grime, but energetic grime. Each dish carrying the emotions of a tense meal, each glass used in a family argument, each utensil that touched food prepared with haste, irritation, or lack of love. All of that ends up in the sink. And the water. The water should clean, shouldn't it? But the opposite happens. The water acts as a conductor. It picks up all this emotional charge and spreads it through the plumbing, which connects to the entire water system of the house, creating an invisible web of dense energy circulating throughout your home. Have you ever noticed how certain houses have a different smell near the sink? A smell that's not of spoiled food or a clogged pipe. It's something more subtle, more disturbing. It's the smell of stagnant energy. And there's a specific time when this energy becomes denser. It's in the early morning, between 2 and 4 a.m., when the water stops circulating and all these emanations concentrate there, still fermenting like an invisible broth of negativity. Kolbe used a simple test to identify energetically contaminated sinks. He would place a glass of clean water next to the sink overnight. The next morning, he would taste the water. If it had a bitter or metallic taste, without any physical explanation, he knew he was facing a point of energy accumulation. But that's nothing compared to the third place, the bathroom mirror. Now you must be thinking, how so? It's just a mirror. No, it's not just a mirror. It's a window to dimensions you can't see. Kolbe spent years studying the physics of mirrors, and he discovered that they don't just reflect images, they reflect energy, emotions, thoughts. Everything that passes before them is recorded like an invisible fingerprint. Think about how many times you've looked at that mirror, feeling ugly, tired, defeated. How many times you've criticized yourself in front of that surface. How many tears have been shed seeing your own reflection. Each of these emotions has been recorded there, like layers of invisible paint accumulating on the glass. But the most disturbing part is yet to come. Kolbe discovered that bathroom mirrors create what he called the portal effect, especially when positioned facing the toilet or the shower enclosure. Because at those moments, when you are most vulnerable, most exposed, most intimate, the mirror is capturing not only your physical image, it's recording your deepest essence, your fears, your shames, your insecurities, and that energy. It doesn't stay trapped in the mirror. It projects back to you, creating an endless loop of negativity. Have you ever had the feeling that someone was watching you while you were showering, even knowing you were alone at home? Now you know why. It wasn't physical eyes watching you. It was your own dense energy accumulated in the mirror, being reflected back to you as a heavy and uncomfortable presence. Kolbe taught a simple method to test if a mirror was charged with negative energy. You stare intently at your reflection for exactly 3 minutes without blinking. If you start to feel an inexplicable discomfort, pressure in your forehead, or tingling in your chest, it's a sign that that mirror needs to be energetically cleansed. But be careful, don't do this test now, because first you need to know how to protect yourself. And I'll only teach you that after revealing the last 2 places. The 4th place will shock you with its simplicity. The main entrance to your house, the front door. But how so? Positive energy also enters through it, you must be thinking. Exactly. And therein lies the problem. The front door doesn't filter energy. She simply lets everything in. The good and the bad mingling like dirty water mixing with clean. Kolbe discovered that the front doorknob is one of the most energetically contaminated points in any home, because it's touched by dozens of different people. The mail carrier with his morning irritation, the neighbor with her toxic gossip, visitors carrying their own problems and anxieties. Each touch leaves a trace, an energetic impression, an invisible mark. And when you come home after a difficult day, tired, with your emotional defenses down, your hand touches exactly there, and all that accumulated energy enters your system like a silent virus. But there's an even more sinister detail. Kolbe noticed that in homes with a high concentration of negative energy, the front door began to develop inexplicable physical problems. The lock would jam for no reason. The handle would come loose. The door would creak even after being lubricated. It was as if the matter itself was being affected by the energetic density of the place. And there's a test you can do right now. Go to your front door, place your hand on the doorknob, but don't turn it. Just feel the temperature of the metal for a few seconds. If it's colder than expected, considering the ambient temperature, you have an energy problem there. But there's still the 5th and final place, and this is the most dangerous of all, because it's where you least expect to find negative energy. It's where you keep your most precious things, where you feel completely safe. The bedroom closet. Yes, that familiar piece of furniture where you keep your clothes, your memories, your personal belongings. Kolbe made a terrifying discovery about closets. They don't just store physical objects, they also store the emotions associated with those objects. That outfit you wore the day of your worst family argument, it still carries the energy of that fight. That shirt you wore when you received devastating news, it still pulsates with that pain. And in the closed darkness of the closet, without air circulation, without natural light, these energies ferment, they mix, they intensify. Kolbe described contaminated closets as emotional cemeteries, places where negative experiences go to die, but not peacefully. They stay there, like trapped ghosts, emanating a dense and suffocating sadness. Have you ever opened your closet in the morning and felt an inexplicable pang of melancholy, as if an invisible cloud had enveloped you out of nowhere? Now you know what was happening, but there's a detail that makes everything even more disturbing. Underwear. They are in direct contact with your body for hours on end. They absorb not only sweat, but also all the emotions you experience that day: anxiety, fear, sadness, anger. And when you store these garments in the darkness of the closet, you are literally archiving your negative emotions so that they multiply in the darkness. Kolbe did a disturbing experiment to demonstrate this. He took a piece of clothing that had been worn during a moment of great emotional stress and kept it in a closed closet for a week. Then, he asked sensitive people to touch the clothing without knowing its history. In 90% of cases, these people reported feelings of discomfort, anguish, or even nausea when touching the garment. The clothing had become a concentrated repository of negative energy. Now imagine this multiplied by dozens of pieces, accumulated over months or years, all together in the same enclosed and dark space. Your closet may be acting like an energetic time bomb right next to your bed, but calm down, take a deep breath. Because now that you know the 5 places where malevolent energies concentrate in your home, we've come to the most important part of all this: how to identify if these places are really contaminated in your home. And even more importantly, how to cleanse this dense energy before it causes irreversible damage to your family. Kolbe developed specific methods for each of these critical points, techniques that he perfected over 17 years of practical research. And I'm going to teach you each one. But first, you need to understand how these negative energies manifest physically, because they don't just stay in the invisible field. They affect your body, your mind, your relationships. If you've been waking up tired even after 8 hours of sleep, if you felt inexplicable sadness upon entering your home, if your family relationships have become more tense for no apparent reason, it's very likely that at least one of these 5 places is contaminated in your residence. The good news is that dense energy can be cleansed, transmuted, transformed into light and harmonized energy. The bad news is that if you don't do anything about it, this contamination will spread like an invisible virus throughout your entire house, until every room, every piece of furniture, every object becomes a conductor of negativity. Kolbe documented cases of entire families who developed chronic depression, persistent insomnia, and even inexplicable health problems, simply by living in energetically contaminated environments. But he also documented cases of miraculous transformations, couples who were on the verge of divorce and regained harmony, children who suffered from constant nightmares and returned to sleeping peacefully, people who lived in constant anxiety and regained their joy of life. All this through the energetic cleansing of these 5 critical points. And now you're going to learn exactly how to do it. The first step is to confirm if your house really has these contaminated points. Because there's no point in doing unnecessary energy cleansing. You need to identify where the specific problems in your home are. Kolbe developed what he called the 5 senses protocol, a simple but precise method for detecting dense energy in each of the places I just revealed. Let's start with the master bedroom. Enter your bedroom on any morning, right after waking up. Stand still in the center of the room for exactly 2 minutes. Don't move, don't talk, just feel. Pay attention to the temperature, not the air temperature, but the temperature you feel on your skin. If there's a noticeable difference between the center of the room and the areas near the bed, you have your first sign. Now close your eyes and breathe deeply. Does the air have any weight, any density? Does it seem heavier to breathe near the headboard of the bed? If the answer is yes to any of these questions, your bedroom is energetically compromised, but there's an even more revealing test. Kolbe discovered that rooms infused with negative energy directly impact the quality of your dreams. Grab a notebook and record your dreams for a whole week. If more than 50% of them are disturbing, confusing, or leave you feeling drained upon waking, your room needs an urgent cleansing. Now, let's move on to the cleansing method. And here's something that will surprise you. You don't need expensive incense. You don't need special crystals. You don't need complicated rituals. Kolbe discovered that the most powerful tool for clearing dense energy is something you already have at home. Coarse salt and water, but not just any way. There's a specific technique that multiplies the effectiveness of the cleansing by 10. Take a glass of water, add 3 tablespoons of coarse salt. Stir with a wooden spoon, never use metal, until the salt dissolves completely. Now comes the crucial part. You're going to sprinkle this salt water in the 4 corners of the room, always starting in the northeast corner and proceeding clockwise. But while you sprinkle, you need to visualize a golden light emanating from the water and filling the entire space. It's not empty mysticism. It's applied energy science. Kolbe explained that the salt acts like a magnet for negative energy, while the water acts as a conductor. The combination of the two creates a cleansing field that literally absorbs the density of the environment. After sprinkling the 4 corners, go to the bed, lift the mattress and sprinkle the solution on the bed frame. This is fundamental because that's where negative energy accumulates the most. Leave the room closed for exactly 40 minutes. Don't enter during this period. The cleansing needs to happen without interference. Afterward, open all the windows and let the air circulate for at least 2 hours. You'll feel the difference immediately. The air will feel lighter. The feeling of heaviness will disappear. And that night, you'll have the best sleep in weeks. Now, let's go to the kitchen. The test for the sink is even simpler. Take a glass of filtered water. Leave it next to the sink overnight. The next morning, taste the water. If it has any strange taste, bitter, metallic, or even a flavor you can't identify, your sink is energetically contaminated. There's another test Kolbe used. He would place a white flower in a vase of water next to the sink. If the flower wilted in less than 3 days for no apparent reason, it was a clear sign of dense energy in the area. To clean the sink, you'll need a lemon. Not just any lemon. It needs to be a ripe, juicy Tahiti lime. Cut the lemon in half. Squeeze the juice directly into the sink drain. Then rub the 2 halves of the lemon all over the sink surface, including the sides and the faucet. While rubbing, mentally repeat, all dense energy dissolves now. Only purity remains here. Seems too simple to work? Kolbe tested this method in over 300 homes. The success rate was 97%. The citric acid in the lemon doesn't just clean physically, it breaks the energetic bonds that keep negativity stuck to the surfaces. After scrubbing well, run water for 5 consecutive minutes. The water will carry all the loose energy away from your home. Repeat this process once a week, always during the waning moon, which is when negative energy is weakest and easiest to remove. Now we come to the bathroom mirror. And here you need to be extra careful. Mirrors with dense energy can be dangerous to clean. If not done correctly, you could end up intensifying the problem instead of solving it. First, the test. Look at your reflection in the mirror for exactly 3 minutes. If you start to feel discomfort, pressure in your forehead, or a strange sensation in your chest, stop immediately. Your mirror is contaminated. There's another telltale sign. If you avoid looking at this mirror for no apparent reason, if you feel lazy or resistant to seeing yourself in it, your intuition has already picked up that something is wrong. For cleaning, you'll need white vinegar and coarse salt. Mix half a cup of vinegar with 2 tablespoons of coarse salt. Stir until a paste forms. Here comes the important part. You're going to clean the mirror with this paste, but never looking directly at your reflection during the process. Kolbe discovered that visual contact during cleaning can create a dangerous energy loop. Rub the paste in circular motions, starting at the edges and moving towards the center. While cleaning, visualize all the dense energy being absorbed by the mixture and leaving the mirror. After cleaning the entire surface, let the paste sit for 15 minutes. Then remove it with plenty of running water. The final test is simple. Look at your reflection again. If you feel lightness, if you like what you see, if you feel peace, the cleaning worked. But if you still feel discomfort, the mirror may be too contaminated for a single cleaning. In that case, repeat the process for 3 consecutive days. The front door requires a different approach. The test here is tactile. Touch the doorknob with the palm of your right hand for 10 seconds. If it's colder than expected, or if you feel a sticky or unpleasant sensation, there's negative energy accumulated there. Another sign is if the lock has been having recent problems for no apparent reason. Dense energy affects even the mechanical functioning of objects. To clean, you'll use a powerful combination: alcohol and lavender essential oil. Mix half a cup of alcohol with 10 drops of lavender essential oil. Dip a clean cloth into this solution and clean the entire doorknob, the lock, and the area around the door. But here's the secret that Kolbe discovered. You need to clean both sides of the door, inside and out. Negative energy doesn't know physical barriers. After cleaning, leave the door open for 10 minutes to allow the air to circulate and carry away any energetic residue. Repeat this process whenever you feel that many negative people have visited your home, or after intense family arguments. And finally, we arrive at the closet. The test here is olfactory. Open your closet and take a deep breath. If you smell mildew, dampness, or any unpleasant odor that has no physical explanation, you have stagnant energy there. Another sign is if you feel inexplicable laziness or sadness when choosing clothes in the morning. Cleaning the closet is the most laborious, but also the most transformative. First, you're going to remove all the clothes. Yes, all of them. The closet needs to be completely empty. Take a damp cloth with white vinegar and clean the entire inside of the furniture. Drawers, shelves, corners, everything. Then, place a small bowl of coarse salt inside an empty closet for 24 hours. The salt will absorb all the residual energy. Now comes the crucial part. Before putting your clothes back, you need to energetically cleanse each garment. Take the clothes you wear most often and hang them in the sun for at least 4 hours. The sun is the most powerful energetic purifier there is. For clothes that can't go in the sun, use this method. Lightly spray each piece with water mixed with dissolved coarse salt. Let them air dry. Pay special attention to underwear and sleepwear. They're in direct contact with your body and absorb more emotional energy. When putting the clothes back, do it mindfully. Hold each piece for a few seconds and mentally program it with positive energy. It may seem strange, but Kolbe discovered that this conscious programming creates a protective energy barrier. Now you know all the cleansing methods, but there's still a fundamental part missing: how to keep these places energetically clean, because there's no point in doing a deep cleaning if negative energy will accumulate again in a few days. Kolbe developed what he called the energetic maintenance protocol. These are simple practices you can do daily to keep your home in balance. First practice: upon waking, before even getting out of bed, visualize a golden light filling the entire room. Do this for just 30 seconds. This visualization creates a protective field that lasts all day. Second practice: whenever you use the kitchen sink, finish by running water for an extra 10 seconds. This prevents negative energy from accumulating in the drain. Third practice: before looking in the bathroom mirror, smile first. Even if it's forced, Kolbe discovered that mirrors memorize the first emotion they capture in the day. If it's a smile, they'll reflect positive energy all day long. Fourth practice: when entering your home, always touch the doorknob with gratitude. Mentally thank yourself for having a safe home. This positive emotion neutralizes any negative energy that may have clung to the doorknob during the day. Fifth practice: once a week, completely open your closet and let the air circulate for at least an hour. Energy needs to move to stay clean. These 5 simple practices can keep your home energetically balanced for years. But there's one last secret Kolbe discovered: a method to enhance all these cleanings and transform your home into a true sanctuary of positive energy. It's something he called energetic anchoring. You choose a small object. It could be a stone, a crystal, or even a coin. The material doesn't matter. What matters is the intention. You will program this object with the energy of protection and harmony you desire for your home. Hold the object in both hands, close your eyes, visualize your home filled with golden light, all the rooms in perfect harmony, your family living in peace and joy. Maintain this visualization for 5 minutes, feeling the emotion of gratitude for this harmonious home. The object will absorb this energetic programming and act as an antenna, radiating this positive energy throughout the house. Choose a central location in the house to leave this object. It could be the living room, the hallway, or even the kitchen. The important thing is that it's a place where everyone in the family passes daily. Once a month, take the object again and renew the programming, maintaining the visualization and gratitude for 5 minutes. Kolbe tested this anchoring method in hundreds of homes. The results were always the same: a drastic reduction in family conflicts, improvement in the quality of sleep for all residents, and a general sense of well-being that visitors immediately commented on upon entering the house. Now you have everything. The 5 places where negative energy accumulates. How to identify if they are contaminated, how to do a complete cleaning, how to maintain balanced energy, and how to create permanent protection. But there's a question that might be hammering in your head right now. Why did Kolbe never widely disseminate this knowledge? Why did this information remain restricted to a few initiates for so many years? The answer is disturbing. Kolbe realized that energetically clean and protected homes created a very strong contrast with the general environment of society. People who lived in harmonized homes began to awaken to patterns of manipulation and control that exist in other aspects of life. They became less influenceable, less controllable, more independent in their thoughts and decisions. And that bothered certain groups who prefer to keep people in a state of mental and emotional confusion. That's why Kolbe decided to transmit this knowledge only to people who were truly ready to take responsibility for living in energetic harmony. People like you who came this far not by chance, but because your consciousness is expanding and you are ready to create a home that is truly your sanctuary. Now, the choice is yours. You can treat all this as just another curious piece of information that passed through your life. You can mentally file away this knowledge and continue living as before, or you can recognize that you came this far for a reason, that your intuition brought you to these revelations because your soul is yearning for more harmony, more peace, more balance in your life. If you choose the second path, start today. Test it in at least one of the 5 places. Prove for yourself that this is not empty theory, but practical knowledge that works. And when you feel the difference, because you will, remember that you are now part of a select group of people who know the secrets to keeping a home energetically protected. Use this knowledge wisely. Share it only with those who truly appreciate it. And above all, trust your own experience, because in the end, the best validation isn't the words of a German mystic from the last century. It's the peace you'll feel when you enter your own home.